Back in Logan, 32-23. Utah State has not known a deficit, a lead as large as 16. Welcome on back inside the Spectrum. John Sadak, as we take a look at this first half, and what was your big takeaway in the first?
Well, the Aggies controlled the paint. They played at their pace. They took advantage of home, and they won the war of the boards.
Let's take a look at what the big fella was able to do. Neemias Queta, the knee has been banged up at times, but he was dynamite.
The one thing that you love is he accepted the double team, get the early rim run in transition, getting the ball in pick and roll, and turns down a Merrill handoff to go and get his own. Jalen Harris has been special early on. He attacked the rim. Now you see him taking these rhythm threes. John comes up to the top of the paint, top of the key. He's patient and knocks down a big shot, and we know Nevada needs every bit of it.
Break down the numbers. The bigs for Utah State carried their weight.
Yes, they did. And it wasn't just, rebounding, blocking shots. John, it was everything. They commanded the paint. They rebounded. They went after shots. They set big screens, which end up in big buckets. And we saw Queta taking advantage with a big early 9 points and 5 rebounds, on pace to a double-double.
What was Steve Alford's take? Let's check in with A.J. Ross.
Well, John, coming in tonight, Coach Steve Alford said this team knew they were poking a beehive and stung, more or less summarizes the Wolfpack's first half performance. Offensively, he says they need to settle down and finish at the rim, and defensively, they need to do better hedging on the screens.
Appreciate that, AJ. Is that what you see as well, Ryan?
Yeah, there's no impact on the basketball. Utah State is going wherever they want. Steve Alford has definitely earned his stripes as a coach.
Well, right inside the Queta stage of the game start, right?
And you got to get help on that back screen. But what's tough is when your guy setting the screen can shoot the deep three. You don't want to help too long. Queta taking advantage inside.
Nevada needs offense. Its worst offensive day as Miller gets a foul. Came with 42 against BYU.
Miller caught with his hands in the cookie jar. But watch this screen. It's Merrill setting the screen. You can't leave him. Queta with the easy dump down. Excellent job of Merrill and Coach Craig Smith understanding the importance that Sam Merrill and the attention he's going to draw.
Now he's given that attention to Jazz Johnson. He's got the primary assignment, it appears, here.
We've seen a number of different defenders guarding Jazz Johnson and Harris.
Meeks fed on the cut. Inside on Queta, off. Utah State assisted on 11 of its 12 field goals. That's something that was underscored by Craig Smith.
Yeah, absolutely. He said, we're a team that leads the NCAA in assists, rebounding, defensive percentage. We're not us if we're not sharing the basketball.
We talked about how last year's team that shared the Mountain West title had the highest rate of assists on made buckets in college basketball. They were able to forge a tie with a dominant Nevada team that had won the league the last couple of years prior and shared the regular season crown. Johnson yet to hit a field goal, takes a tumble, feeds Meeks.
Meeks has to knock that down. That was a great look from Jazz Johnson. Won't get any better.
Merrill off the Queta screen. Miller lying in wait. Nice fake. Open three. Bruce got it. How do they ignite Jazz Johnson?
Well, you got to put him in different opportunities. Obviously, your defense is going to start it, get him in transition. But maybe he's running pick and roll. Maybe he's the screen setter that we saw Merrill just do, getting Queta wide open. But you got to get Jazz Johnson opportunities. Wow.
Merrill got a piece there, out of bounds. It's going to be Nevada ball, no possession exchange, 14 to shoot.
And what's tough for Jazz Johnson, he's giving up darn near 6 inches at the 2-guard spot, everybody that he's playing against. So he's got to make his speed be a factor against these bigger Utah State defenders.
Oh, bad entry.
Meeks has to wake up. He's missed an open three, drops the ball on a wide open layup on a back door from an ATO. That's taking the ball out underneath. So Meeks has to wake up. This team needs some inside presence.
How much of that is just being on the road in this kind of an environment?
Well, that's why you hit first and you take advantage of the 6 man. And Utah State has one of the best 6 men in basketball. We're talking about this Utah State crowd.
Only 10 to shoot here. Johnson fed. A screen from Reyes. He's got Queta off the fake. Got a piece and a foul.
tough foul there. Keita got caught with his hands in the cookie jar, but Jazz Johnson really escapes when he's been struggling. That might be let's see if this shot gets him going. Oh yeah, Keita using his length. He got a little over aggressive. He wants to block the shot rather than just contest it.
Jazz Johnson off. He's an 86% free throw shooter. That's second best in the Mountain West.
And we see the sixth man has built a Keita. I've never seen that underneath the basket. If we can catch a shot of that, his arms and limbs. It's not just the head.
Jazz Johnson had a brilliant virtuoso display against Boise State. Struggled, particularly inside the arc in the loss to San Jose State. Finally, his first point of the night. Anderson leaning and hitting.
Beautiful left-hand hook from Anderson. Taking his time, being patient. And you're going to see Harris is the runner now on the baseline.
Game high 12 in the first, make it 14.
That's a beautiful play, John. You can't teach that. Selling the drive, pulling up with a little stop and go action.
He's in his first year of eligibility. Nevada lost all 5 starters from the team a year ago. Miller off the bounce, the runner, bang.
Beautiful kiss off the glass. One of the toughest shots in basketball. You either shoot a little too soft or a little too hard. Brock showing his touch.
And Miller, second field goal make. He's got 5.
If you're Jazz Johnson, you got to play in space. Give yourself an advantage. When you get too close, guys like Sam Merrill and company can use their length and really bother you, and it has.
In and out, one and done. Utah State has dominated the boards in the paint. Keita wants it. Porter.
Watch how many passes Utah State gets in a possession. That's tough to guard. It wears you down. Beautiful basketball for the Aggies.
And that's part of what Steve Alford said he wants from Nevada, right? He wants post touches, not so much for post baskets. Meeks here will give him just that, but to help move the ball.
Right on call, and that's what he said, guys. Throw it into the post, hit our guys on rolls. Maybe they score, maybe they don't. Being rewarded right there, Brock, with the nice little right hand lay-in over the outstretched hands of Keita. Good job.
It's shocking, though, my friend. Utah State overwhelmingly is dominated, and here it is, a 10-point game.
And one thing I remember, 10-point game. They're marching back.
Oh, Keita!
Wow. There's not too many big men with that type of stroke and shot. See the Aggies loving it. Rare mid-range jumper from Keita.
He's got 13. Is he an NBA player for you?
Absolutely, if healthy. He's got the length, the size, the hands.
Harris showing the shake. Through. The shot is not there.
Horrible possession. Too much standing for the Wolfpack. They've got to move the ball, play with pace, play with effort. Utah State making them work on their end. And then Nevada has 1 or 2 passes to a shot. Story of the game.
Merrill, oh, what a pass to Keita!
Good patience from Merrill, just dragging out the pick and roll, getting the big fella an easy one.
Keita's got a game high 15. Drew with contact. He's forced a few shots.
Yes, he has. He's really struggled. I agree. You couldn't agree more, John.
What do you want to see from Utah State here?
If you're Utah State, you stay with what's worked. Share the basketball, stay aggressive, and get your big fella open inside. And it hasn't been the post touch, it's been the pick and roll. Watch this bucket here.
Keita one-on-one with Reyes. He's going to win that battle. That'll be 3 on Reyes. Brock Miller showing his bank game.
Brock Miller with the nice little kiss off the glass. Toughest shot in basketball. The big fella inside. Nice action. Nevada down 28. Utah State rolling up 42-28.
Utah State up big, but Ryan Hollins, what did your eagle eye just notice?
the one thing, they've been moving the basketball, taking care of the paint, and our big fella, Keita, he sprinted to the locker room. Now, it's a good sign for Coach Craig Smith that he sprinted up the tunnel, so maybe he's got to relieve himself. We don't know, John, but we'll find out soon.
Let's check in with AJ.
Thanks, guys. We'll certainly find out soon, but the impact Namish Keita has when he's on the floor is certainly unmatched. He's coming back from a significant knee injury versus Florida just a couple weeks ago, but Coach Smith says when he's on the floor, when they're getting the ball inside to him, it makes all the difference. And not just with points, he does a lot of things as a great passer and facilitator too, guys.
Appreciate that. We've seen his entire skill set, but he's not on the floor here. Dorius, the walk-on in. Porter finds Dorius, and he gets hit. That'll be a foul on Himes, his second. Now Dorius to the line here.
Good job, Dorius. Doing a great job of standing in for Keita.
He has struggled 38% of the stripe on the year. Start your Sundays with that other pregame show as the CBS Sports Network crew breaks down the latest information, gives you full coverage of every playoff matchup on the NFL calendar. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Your Niners, pretty decided victory today.
Took care of business, but the Titans look like they're going to pull up a monster upset against the Super Bowl favorite Baltimore. Lamar Jackson.
And AJ giving word that your premonition was accurate. Nature did call for Keita. And Johnson cuts to the bucket. That's his first made field goal of the game. He is a microwave player that can go off.
Yes, he is. Excellent sign for Coach Alford. This is a guy, like you mentioned, that can score a bunch of points in minutes. And like we said earlier, he's got to use his speed to get open. You know, if you're a smaller guy, you don't want to just stand there and let a good defender use his length. Uses his speed to get by Merrill. Nice little kiss off the glass with the left hand, using his touch. Just keep an eye on that.
Began the game 0 for 7 from the field, 17 to shoot.
Coach Alford going zone out of the timeout.
And Himes the foul and one. Bairstow, a big game off the bench.
Bairstow, excellent job again of attacking the rim. Got behind the zone and just went straight for it. See the youth inside defensively of Nevada. Bairstow, no hesitation, using that nice 6'7" frame to get to the rim.
Sticks the free throw, third foul on Himes. This was exactly Steve Alford's worry, that size could impact rebounding and paint points.
Absolutely. This is a squad that can score with the best of them from outside, but they struggle with their youth and inexperience inside. Oh my goodness.
Beautiful move.
Couldn't pay it off with the left.
Dorius took a tumble. 4 on 5 on the PK. What a threaded pass.
Ooh.
Bairstow steps.
Bairstow, he might as well have just shot that one. He had one thought in mind. Go ahead and finish it off.
Is there any piece of you that would consider, with Utah State matching its largest lead in this game, do you consider going small, already concede the size you have, and just try to spread the floor and move better?
No, not if you're Utah State. You stick to the game plan. They had 2 amazing practices. But if you're Nevada, you have to change things up. And you got to get guys like Jazz Johnson in space. You see Merrill shadowing him all around the floor.
Yeah, I mean, for Nevada, to try to combat that size a little bit.
Yeah, well, Nevada needs some toughness, and they got to get in transition. It's going to be the defense. Big-time 3 there from Harris, John.
And Harris now has 17 to lead the game. Keita paces Utah State with 15. He's on the bench. Merrill has gone quiet. Finds Brito. Off. Wow. Nice board by Dorius and a foul.
Excellent job from Dorius. Coach Craig Smith feeling it, hopping on the floor, giving his guy a high five. Good job rooting out. He's got position there. But that's what we're talking about. You got to have 5 guys in there. Reyes couldn't come down, but it's a group battle. Battle of the boards. When you're small, you got to swarm to the basketball.
That's 4 fouls on Reyes. This is the tallest team in college basketball, blessed with the tallest freshman class in college basketball. And
Merrill's so tough. He knew he had the 3-pointer the whole time, but he looked off and took the nice little pull-up control.
Ferris playing with a sense of calmness, it feels.
Absolutely. He's got himself in rhythm. You just need another guy, Jazz Johnson or Lindsey, to get going also.
Zuzwa attacking Dorius, bodies him up, and he finishes through it.
Grown man finish from Zuzwa.
He scored 20 a game in his NEC days when he was at Bryant before transferring.
Coach Alfred's got some good guards, man. You know, the bigs just need to kind of mature a little bit. That's what's tough when you have youth inside, a lack of size. And the Aggies have taken advantage of it. Look at the patience from Merrill. My goodness.
His creativity on full display.
No, Sam Merrill's feeling it. You're going to see the patient stare down three. Watch him look off the defender. He knows he has the three the whole way. Ice it. Nevada down 35. Utah State up 49.
Utah State up 49-35, a game with import in the Mountain West. Elsewhere in the league today, Colorado State took down San Jose State. New Mexico ran its record at 12-0 in the pit, disrupting Air Force, and in overtime, UNLV survives Wyoming. Wyoming still winless in league play. UNLV now 4-1. Big one tonight, though, San Diego State, Boise State.
Yeah, big surprise there from UNLV taking care of business. One of the more athletic teams in conference. San Diego State still rolling. And Utah State making a call saying, hey guys, we were the preseason favorites. Okay, hold on. Don't forget about us.
By the way, San Diego State, the latest bracketology from our own Jerry Palm, he has them as a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
I couldn't agree more. They've taken care of business early on, won the big games.
A big foul that prompted the timeout. Reyes is 5th. He is fouled out for Nevada. Brito slashes cup and finishes.
And that's so tough. Utah State spreads you out, and then they attack the rim. Coach Craig Smith loving it in his full stance at half court.
Queta on the floor. Zuzwa, Bairstow smothers, bad pass.
They're feeling it. The Aggies are feeling it. Craig Smith air punching at half court. Game plan discipline. Play through the whistle. That's what Coach Craig Smith has preached. Play through the whistle, and you see it there. Not letting Jazz Johnson come back to the basketball. Big time turnover. Aggies in control. Look at Sam Merrill. Look at Sam Merrill getting guys in position, putting Queta in the right spot. You know, he's missed some games, probably forgot the plays while he was out.
Feeds Bairstow. They're still working Queta back in some. He has exploded here tonight, and a foul on Robinson. That'll be his 4th. So they've already lost John Carlos Reyes. Now Robbie Robinson's got 4.
Yeah, they're going to end up going really small here without Reyes, and Robinson knows he's got 4. He didn't like that foul. Tough call, but you know, the aggressor has been Queta and the Aggies, and you see him rewarded.
Merrill off Nevada ball. Drew, he has been forcing some of his own looks here tonight. No. Not running any offense.
No, they haven't, and that's been the difference. Watch Utah State. They may average a minimum 6 to 7 passes in a possession, and you see Nevada, there's a lot of one-on-one. They're playing without a purpose. They cut, and they're not getting much out of it. The Aggies are blowing up everything that Nevada's doing.
All 3 of those bigs for Nevada. Tip ball, Johnson's got it. Down the lane. Off the iron and a foul.
And that's what Jazz Johnson's got to do. He's got to use his speed, play in space. He's a bulldog, absorbing contact to Porter, and he has an opportunity to get to. Watch this. Going to attack the rim, get Porter a little bit off balance, and go right there, right into the chest of Porter to get an opportunity on the line.
And yet you look at the team fouls. Utah State is 1 away from bonus in its favor the rest of the way with 6 fouls in Nevada. Himes in as Robinson subs away. Only 3 fouls on Utah State. Nevada has a hard time drawing the whistle from opponents on the year.
Yeah, well, they don't have an inside presence. And if you're Utah State, because you don't have fouls, you can remain aggressive on the defensive end of the floor. Nevada's got to think twice, knowing they're in the bonus. Look at the ball moving, my goodness. Now you got what you want inside.
Quadruple team.
Wow.
Porter open.
John, we would like to call that a coaching clip. You move the ball side to side, get it inside. Big fella's quadruple team, and he hits a wide open Porter for three. Timeout, Nevada.
Utah State has the largest lead of the game. A sea of smiles for Craig Smith's team. Porter more than able. 4-on-1, get you some. And the three ball, it's all Aggies. Utah State has its largest lead of the game, trying to snap a season-worst three-game slide. They have shared the basketball.
Excellent job sharing the sugar, as we would say, getting in the paint. Watch that paint touch. Now, nice little kick to the green machine. Quadruple team inside. Porter with the nice knockdown feed from Keita. This team is one of the most unselfish in college basketball. Executing, sharing the basketball, toughness, doing the little things.
Have a look at the game summary brought to you by AT&T. Points to the paint, oddly enough, it was inverted against Utah State in their loss to Air Force when they were outscored by 16 in the paint against a guard-heavy team, and 17 assists for Utah State on 21 made buckets. That's an incredible rate.
That's special, and that means that your players have bought in. We've seen Utah State time after time, John, pass up good shots for great shots. Had a seemingly open layup for a wide open layup. Excellent job, Aggies.
Nevada having one of its worst offensive days of the year. The Aggies a big part of that. Harris needs help.
Wow, they're getting after it.
Himes hard screen. Zuzwa. What a cut with 6 on the timer and a whistle.
Good drive there from Zuzwa. Much better possession, even though it was not perfect. Nevada moving the basketball side to side. Zuzwa getting the nice drive and foul on the big fella.
Foul to Brito, his second, team's fourth. And Zuzwa at the line, an 87% shooter. Head man Steve Alford said of Zuzwa that he knew he was fired up to get his chance, and he's made tremendous strides, and he takes good shots. He had to sit quite a bit when Nevada had a number of other established forces last year, but they've changed head coaches. All 5 starters gone, and they're still trying to learn how to win on the road. 1-3 in true road games this year.
Absolutely, and you know, Coach Alford's going to get this place rocking. We're talking Nevada. You got to think he wants to take 33s a game. If you're a big man, that's the one thing they're missing. So if you're a recruit, you got to be looking at this Wolfpack squad and say, man, I could really come and make an impact.
Himes trying to screen. Harris. Merrill right on top of Johnson. Floats it up and in. That's only his second field goal made. Comes on his 10th shot.
KJ Himes has to roll earlier on that possession. He had a wide open dunk. Ooh.
Brito wide open brick.
He's got to knock that down.
Harris loses it on help from Keita.
Keita's presence just makes things happen. Great things happen for the Aggies.
Keita screens. Bairstow giving the three.
Bairstow's energy has been infectious. You see him attacking the rim earlier in the game, knocking down a nice deep three. He's given great minutes for Craig Smith.
8 points for Bairstow, who had a chance to blossom against NAIA Eastern Oregon right before New Year's, right before conference play ramped up in earnest. Contact there. Free throws coming for Jalen Harris.
Good call there, stifling defense. You never want to foul a jump shooter if the Cardinals sin, but forcing a tough two.
Foul to Brito, his third, so they're piling up some on Utah State. 5 as a squad. Multiple subs as Bean is ready for his first minutes since around the midway point of the first half. He picked up his 3rd foul then.
He did, and what you got to love from Justin Bean, it wasn't perfect, wasn't ideal, but ultimately, Bean's energy got the rest of the team going. You never want to sacrifice a guy that important, his minutes, but the rest of the team got going from his aggressiveness.
Here's Harris already exceeding his per-game average. An average that ramps up in league play to over 21 a game. They're facing a gaudy deficit. Utah State, a 3-game losing streak, had failed to score over 60 points in that slide.
My goodness, the Aggies make you guard. That's tough.
Oh, what a feed, Bean! Merrill wanted that one.
Yeah, Bean's got to pay that off. Merrill had a beautiful drive and dump off. If you play with Sam Merrill, you better have your hands ready because he's going to deliver. Oh, goodness.
That's a delivery. Jalen Harris sticking a tough triple. Give him 22 to lead the game.
And we knew Coach Alford would need to have 2 of his 3 backcourt.
That's not been the case tonight. Only one has produced at a high level.
Yeah, that's just Harris. He's been excellent, but he just needs one more guy to hang in the game.
Miller out of the corner. Right on the spot. Brito cleans it up.
The Aggies extend you out from the layup to the 3-point line, and then you give up a nice little dump-in layup, which is so tough.
Johnson one-on-one on nice fake.
Wow. It didn't make it work. I mean, he had to score through 3 and 4 defenders and have every 4 or 5 fakes just to get a shot. Excellent defense, Aggies.
Utah State, 34-18 edge in the paint.
Look for the ball in the post.
Bean sets the screen. He wants the ball. Hines denying.
Whenever you see punch, that normally denotes a post up, but Bean knowing punch doesn't mean my shot, but I make it an open shot for Bean, my teammate. Excellent kick out from Bean.
A foul in the act of a 3. We'll have 3 free throws for Miller when we're back. Dominant display by Utah State, smothering Nevada in a matchup of last year's regular season co-champs. Time to get to the good stuff, brought to you by Tostitos. Neemias Queta has been great.
Yeah, he's excellent. He's been the difference for the Aggies. This team, if they're going to make a run, need him to be healthy. Nice little kiss right there, but he got himself going, cutting to the rim, coming off screens, diving hard in pick and roll opportunities. And not to mention his impact defensively. Queta has been nothing short of special in helping this team coming off this 3-game slide. And you know, his best basketball is to come the more healthy that he gets. And we couldn't hear Coach Craig Smith just rant and rave about how much they need him to get healthy.
He is a super talent. Queta, who started by playing soccer in Portugal, as many do, did not pick up a basketball until he was 10. But his feet praised by his head man, Craig Smith, with part of that soccer background and that outstanding passing ability. Now, Miller was hit in the act of a triple, fouled a Zuzwa, so 3 free throws here for Miller.
And John, I played the position. It's so hard for a big man to get a blind catch. What I mean by blind catch, a blind catch is when you're throwing the basketball and you can't see what's behind you. Queta is big enough and patient enough to catch the ball and either go up and score or make a play, a nice kick out to a teammate as we see him check into the game.
Miller makes good at the line. Queta returns. He'll take the place of Bean. This might be his last stint on the floor if the margin maintains the way it's been, right?
Well, that's why Coach Craig Smith tried to call a play for him to get him a shot because he wasn't going to be playing too long.
And Nevada's been disjointed. A lot of one-on-one ball. Johnson has come on some here in the second. Nearly lost the handle. Finds Drew. The elbow J off. Follows to get the board. And we'll get the whistle.
You see the frustrations on Drew's face, and I've seen this young man since he was a young tyke running around the gym with his brothers and his dad, watching the pros play over at UCLA. Lindsey Drew, that is.
That foul, by the way, to Bairstow is first, team 6th. So Nevada one away from bonus in its favor. Oh, give the space to Harris. Off the heel, Drew tracks it down. Harris attacking the shot blocker, and Keita. That's a tough angle try.
And Keita's presence alone has simply frustrated the Wolfpack all night long.
Injured that knee, competing with the junior national team for Portugal over the summer. Aggravated it against Florida in late December.
You're going to see Merrill now just make sure that the plays are run crisp. They're taking their time. They're patient. They're milking every single possession, knowing they've got a big lead.
Muscling against Meeks. Foul.
That
one on the shot clock.
Tough call right there on Meeks. I don't know if I'd have called it. Meeks a little bit out of position, but you know what? When you're rolling and you're home, yeah, Meeks took up the space. You got to let the defender be able to swing through.
Now Keita to the line where he's much improved. 57% a year ago, 78 this year, in part because of the knee injury. Craig Smith said he had all this time where all he could do was shoot free throws.
Absolutely.
And he converts. Headed your way next. The new PBR season continues in the Windy City. Don't miss the Chicago Invitational right here on CBS Sports Network. Any bull riding for you in your background?
I have it, but I'm enamored with it. The strength and power of the bulls. I don't know any 7-footers that are made for the bull walk.
For Nevada, running out of time, under 5 minutes.
And if you're Nevada, you can't milk clock. You got to go quick, and you have to get early shots.
Kane Milling into the game, delivers a 3.
Big time 3. Now you got to pick up. You cannot sit back. So this Utah State team is going to eat you up, passing the ball 7, 8 times a possession. They're going to execute to hold this clock out, knowing he's got a lead. Watch Keita in a mid pick and roll coming soon.
Milling only had 1 3 in the last 6 games.
Excuse me, post up.
Brito finds Keita, back to Brito, screen for the shooter. Brito drives. What a feed. Bairstow, 1 to shoot, can't get it off. Shot clock violation.
And that's okay. When you're up big, you don't mind a shot clock violation. It's the long turnovers that spark transition that you don't want. But even bigger, watch Utah State. Coach Craig Smith will call a play, and it won't be the first option that scores. This team understands to keep sharing the sugar, moving the basketball. It's not a player shot, it's a team shot, and that's why they have so many assists tonight. Assisted baskets.
And they called steps there before the shot clock, turnover either way. Dead ball means a media, 4 to go.
And if you're Nevada, you want to go fast and early.
They turn it over. Kane Milling doesn't play a ton, turns it over, and they're eating it up in the student section. Back in Logan, Ryan Hollins, let's revisit your keys. They've held up, huh?
Yes, they absolutely have, and it's been all Aggies. Backcourt or bust. They couldn't get things going tonight. Shooting 18 3-pointers. Control Keita. No, Keita has had his way. In the first 5 minutes, the Aggies outscored Nevada 9-2. Toughness, points in the pace, 50-50 balls, steals, all Aggies.
And this is the big 3 in the backcourt. You said you only needed 2 of the 3 to have a chance to win. Only 1 has had a great game so far.
Yeah, it's only been Jalen Harris. And Jazz Johnson, they switched on him. You saw Merrill guarding him. They have truly taken him out of the game. And Lindsey Drew is more of an assist man, a point man, but he's truly struggled to get himself going, and the frustration has set in. But Harris has been absolutely excellent tonight.
Harris, dynamite, now pressure from Nevada, and a foul. The Drew bump on Merrill, who's Mr. Automatic.
That's what Merrill does. Merrill knows how to draw fouls. As soon as he sees you jump up, he's going to be patient with the nice little raccoon black eye, and he's going to bump into you, get a foul drawn. Experienced senior move, Sam Merrill.
Yeah, we spoke with Craig Smith about Merrill Shiner. Suffered with the contact against Air Force earlier in the week. And he said Merrill had approached him and talked about the idea of trying to conceal it some. Maybe put something on there. He's like, are you kidding? When that heals up, I want you to put another fake shiner on there. Shades of slap shot, making him look mean.
Double him up, right? Well, it's paid off tonight. Look at Craig. Craig Smith is still into the game. Somebody tell Craig Smith he can relax. Coach, sit down.
He has an infectious, very upbeat personality.
Absolutely.
Fallon Miller here.
I mean, he stole the show at shoot-around. You know, it's not really common that a coach comes over and takes that much time with the media crew as he did, man. He said he could have talked basketball a whole nother hours. I said, Coach, don't tempt me. I'm there with you.
Miller's got his second. Drew at the line, 7 fouls on Utah State, so bonus has arrived. And Craig Smith now in his second year. And this is some of the distraction, including, is that about on point, like real life size for Neemias Queta?
Yeah, that's how we see him tonight. We talk about Queta being all over the place. Well, they can't get away from Queta. He's behind the basket. He's challenging free throws. Queta. I've never seen it. And you know what? Credit the sixth man, John. You know, we were traveling and shoveling through snow to get here. We go, man, has anyone come to the game? Well, they don't seem too bothered here.
That's led by the vibrant student throng. They call them the Herd. Classes don't resume until Monday, and yet the students out here in earnest because basketball school is year-round.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see a full court trap here from Steve Alford. You love to see it a little earlier, taking advantage of their speed because they don't have an advantage inside. This is a team that has to swarm to the basketball, a la Golden State when they were at their best with a small lineup, gang rebounding, picking up 94 feet.
Oh, Queta. He moves so well off the ball.
Well, you've got to worry about the shooting of Utah State, and then Queta cuts to the basket for an open dunk.
He's got a season-high 19. Utah State has led from jump. Wow. Harris wincing after that contact.
Tough play. Grown man drive, but watch Queta, nice nimble cut. We talk about a blind catch, so hard for a big man, and I played the position, and he turns and gets a nice finish.
Foul to Porter, his third. At what point you're up huge, do you start pulling some of your starters?
Well, right now it's about confidence. Queta would have been out the game a long time ago. But Coach Craig Smith knows he's the closest he's looked like to himself since last year. So he's going to allow him to stay in the game, keep rolling, get some numbers, feel good about himself. This is a moral victory. This is a statement to the rest of the NCAA and college basketball that, hey, man, Utah State, we haven't gone anywhere.
Craig Smith's team, a major statement. Meeks out, Himes back for Nevada. Pressure from the Wolfpack here. Double on entry. And Utah State able to beat it.
So tough to pressure a guy like Merrill with his ball handling skills. He allows all a 6'5". Timeout coming up. Maybe we'll see those subs coming in, John.
Well, the Aggies will talk it over. This is what's on the horizon. They're going to have a full week off, so maybe that's part of it. Getting a little bit of conditioning in for Queta, who's had limited reps. They will not play for a full week until they'll take on longtime rival Boise State. That's a Broncos team that's been a lot of close calls, 11 of the last 12 head-to-head, 6 points or less or in overtime, including an overtime finish a year ago. At San Diego State, certainly one circled the rematch.
Absolutely, the rematch is coming up. But what's so tough about this conference is how well the ball is shot. Anybody on any given night can upset you. We see San Jose State surprising everybody. UNLV bringing it. So you've got to be ready. So if you're Utah State, you've got to stick to your bread and butter. Defense, rebounding, assisted buckets, all those little things come into play because you're going to hit slumps in league where you don't shoot the basketball well.
And that was the challenge from Craig Smith. The big word that he used and echoed many times in the week leading up to this game. Toughness. I think his team has shown that tonight.
And they've been tough. And it wasn't the shooting. They didn't shoot great tonight. They shot okay. But the defense, the effort, the intensity.
Easy to shoot when you're that open.
Nice shot there from Brito. Better roll from Keita. Keita took 2 guys with him on his roll to the basket and got an open shot for his teammate.
3 ball off. Himes wins it. Johnson sticks it.
It's the best look that Jazz Johnson has had all game long.
And Nevada calls timeout here.
And you talk about rhythm. If you're Coach Steve Alford in the Wolfpack, you weren't yourself tonight. All your plays got blown up. Jazz Johnson couldn't get a look at the basket. You didn't get out of transition. 3-point shots haven't fallen, so you got to get in a rhythm defensively, and even more so for this club, which is an offensive unit that can score with anybody in the country. They've got to make some shots to close this game out.
Here's what's coming up for the Wolfpack. 4 games here on CBS Sports Network. Wyoming took UNLV to overtime. They do have the 2nd leading scorer in the conference in Hunter Maldonado. And then they're going to get the big test at San Diego State right here on CBS Sports Network.
And as we talked earlier, John, nobody is safe in conference. So Nevada's got a chance to make some noise in the Mountain West. So they've got to have a strong showing. This is still a young group. Get that morale back up. And a lot of these guys have never played big minutes on the road at Utah State. Going down to San Diego State, a lot of these big games, it's new. So they're still learning, and their best basketball is to come.
Entry to Keita.
Look at the big fella, the press breaker. Keita put the afterburners on.
He can move some.
And that's what we were always taught as the 5-man. You're the pressure release. You're the last guy. So that means that Nevada had taken off 1, 2, 3, 4 options, and then Keita comes in and gets the big catch.
And it's also now double bonus, so Porter gets 2. He's a 73% shooter.
And John, if you're Steve Alford, he's got to look at, we're undersized. Maybe we press more. Maybe we trap. We throw in some zone, a little 1-3-1 back to 2-3 looks, and see what we can't get, because defensively they're so small at the basket. But when you press, the one thing you don't want to give up is what? Fouls and layups. But they've got the speed, and one of the better teams in the country at taking away the 3-ball.
Yeah, but part of, I think, the game plan, they don't turn teams over. They're bottom 7 in college basketball, and turnovers forced per game. Maybe you're onto something there if that could be possible.
No, and that's what Steve Alford, former UCLA coach, is excellent. He's going to adjust to what he has. Jazz Johnson waking up.
His 2nd made 3.
John, it's not about this game. It's about league play and making a statement.
Oh, the good kick. The unselfishness for Utah State.
They're going to make you. John, I'd have taken that shot. I'd have put that shot up. But they're going to make you work, man. An experienced veteran squad. We see Sam Merrill telling Porter, great job. And you know what? For a team that lost 3 straight, normally they splinter. I've been on groups that had splintered, and we weren't the same the rest of the season. But the championship squads, they stick together. Great sign and huge message to the rest of the conference. And like I said earlier, all of college basketball, seeing what Utah State does, they made a name.
Falda drew his 4th. I think we saw that from not just Craig Smith, but from his team, and how upbeat, and you used the word communicative, they were at the shoot-around today.
I couldn't believe that the talk. There was a stark difference between Nevada and Utah State at the shoot-arounds. That just comes with experience. I remember myself from a freshman to a senior, the level of communication. It had nothing to do with Jazz Johnson gets going. See, talk about a guy who can score in bunches, but the communication comes along. And as a player, you buy into the little things. I can't say enough about the translation from what Coach Craig Smith wants and then what he gets after it's called. That's so tough to have that relationship, John, between player and coach. And you see it with Utah State when they're rolling.
Craig Smith's team is going to get a big victory here tonight. Entered with a losing mark in league, tied with San Jose State in the Mountain West as Johnson misfires on a couple. They're going to get their 16th win in 17 games at home. They have been dominant over several years in this building.
I think Jazz Johnson sees that Keita back there contesting free throws. The monster Keita. That's one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a basketball game. I've seen the big hands, but I hadn't seen the whole body.
And they do it big time here. Brito hit on the break.
Look at Keita. Cada wants a slam dunk on the break.
Well, here is the difference for Utah State. Home versus away from home.
That's where you know you owe your home fans something. They come out, they support you. It's snowing. We didn't know how we were going to get here, but the Aggies, faithful, the sixth man, knew they were going to show up. And the Utah State, they start slow. They struggle on the road. They've been digging themselves in the hole. Yes, it worked against South Florida. Yes, they came back from down big against LSU. But now you see them learning that, guys, we got to start off earlier, and we have to see if we can be the same team on the road.
Well, Craig Smith said, his quote was, "We have to eliminate losing." And that encompassed a lot. It was a lot of little things for him as Cada goes off to a roaring ovation here. And I think that's the biggest thing that you take out of this game, right? Is that it seems like Cada's back.
Oh, yeah, Cada's back. Wow, big-time jab from Harris. He's one of the more elite athletes in college basketball. But another stark difference between the experience of Utah State in Nevada, Craig Smith can come out and just say, hey, guys, we're not losing anymore, and his team gets it. The Aggies get it. Steve Alford has a young group that struggled playing San Jose on the road. They didn't know how to get them. They're learning how to win. They're learning how to be consistent. That's what you get with a youthful squad. Coach Alford in his first year has a lot of teaching to do. One of the great teachers in college basketball, closing in on his 600th win. He's not quite there yet. We know he'll get it by the end of the season. But he's doing a lot of teaching rather than just executing on the floor, teaching these young guys how to play. Well, the Aggies are an experienced group that get it.
And last year, it was the home team taking each matchup. Nevada was the 12th ranked team of the country when they fell here at Utah State. That was a game that forged the tie atop the standings that would hold as they share the regular season title. Johnson stepping back, showing his rage. Timeout Nevada, the final TO for the Wolfpack.
Talk about a guy who can score in bunches. Jazz Johnson trying to get back on track. Aggies up big, 77-65. Aggies.
Utah State up 77-65. Nevada just exhausted its final timeout, is trailed by as many as 18. Steve Alford closing in on 600 wins, now in his 29th year as a coach. When he was at D3 Manchester, his final year as the national runner-up. Missouri State took them to a Sweet 16. Iowa, a winning record, but no national postseason. New Mexico, 3 trips to the big dance, and at UCLA, 3 journeys to the Sweet 16. He signed a 10-year deal with Nevada. Says he wants that to be his last job, and he's trying to reload a program that lost quite a bit from the year before he arrived.
And you would think for a young group, Coach Alford would be fired up, going crazy. He likes his guys. They've got a great synergy here going. He's one of the more elite coaches on the offensive end in college basketball. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's teaching.
There's a flop warning there on Jazz Johnson. That's a point of emphasis this year.
Point of emphasis there, flop warning. But what's tough, Jazz Johnson, he's a brick, no doubt. But he's about 5'6", you know. Normally little guys get the benefit of the doubt there. A little home cooking, I may say. Coach Alford going, hey, come on, I don't know. Watch this. You can't run a guy over. That's not a flop warning. He was run over. Okay, in my mind, and Jazz Johnson doesn't get it. But that's why you're the aggressor, and you get the benefit of the doubt when you play at home and you take care of your home court. Nagy's getting the benefit on that call. Look for Merrill here flashing to the ball.
There was issue with the clock. They had to reset it right before entry. Rito triple teamed. Merrill taps it to Miller.
What a heads-up play. Did you see that? So the ball could have been stolen by Nevada. Sam Merrill knows it, and he goes up, and instead of trying to catch the basketball, watch him tip it to Brock right there. Wow, heads-up play. Sam Merrill, my goodness.
And watch Alford. You see at the tail end of the play there, he put up both hands, saying to his team, "Don't foul, don't foul." At this margin with this amount of time.
And it's not just about the margin. Utah State doesn't miss free throws. they take care of business. That's how you close and win big games. And this was why this team is going to be scary heading into March.
Harris, he's stuffing the stat sheet today. He's got 29. That's his 5th made 3.
He's at peace with his game right now. When a player's at peace, he can see what's going to happen before he has it. Do I have the drive? Do I have the pass? Do I have shot? Harris is feeling it.
And now Steve Alford's not happy as Drew gives the foul. Alford had a hand in his pocket, another hand off to his side. Drew was fouled out. Saying, what are you doing? I just said don't foul.
Yeah, he didn't want him to foul out, and now you're just boosting averages at this point because Utah's not missing these free throws. Oh, this is a tough situation. The 6th man is feeling it. Shannon right, left to Drew. Uh-oh. Drew with the fake out on the 6th man crowd.
As they chanted, sit down. He didn't sit down and stood back up. Now Miller is now the 5th Aggie in double figures. Scoring variety on full display.
Anytime you get 5 guys in double figures in college basketball, at any level, you had a fine performance.
Harris breaks 30.
Wow, Harris is feeling it tonight.
And the student section letting each side know which bench is the winning team and which one is the losing team.
The Aggies needed this more than anything. It's not about just winning, it's how they won. The assist, the defense, the loose balls. Great job, Coach Craig Smith and company.
Utah State snaps its 3-game funk and pulls even in conference play at 3-3. Continues its dominant efforts at home. Neemias Queta leads the charge. He was a monster inside.
Yes, he was. Excellent job. And you know, you probably prepared all week long for post-up touches if you were Coach Steve Alford. Well, he did it running the floor, catching on the elbow, diving on pick and roll opportunities. Queta was excellent, and Coach Craig Smith doing a good job of finding creative ways to get Queta the basketball.
Queta, NBA talent, multiple scouts in the building here tonight. He was great, and he's with our own A.J. Ross.
That's right, guys. We've been saying all night how much a force Neemias Queta is when he's on the floor. Tonight, you had a season-high 19 points, tacking on 7 rebounds. In addition to your performance, talk about the overall team performance.
We played a really good game. I felt that we needed to play harder than the last 3 games that we lost. And I think that we did that. And we did a pretty good job on their sets. And we were really good defensively. And that's the first step for being a great team. And I think we're on the right way.
For sure. And this snapped a 3-game losing streak for you all from start to finish. The energy just seemed different with this team. Now you're going into the bye, and then you'll face Boise State. What can we expect next weekend?
I feel that we'll have a lot more energy. This next week is going to be great for us, for our legs to have a little bit of rest, extra rest. And I feel that it's going to be I feel that this is going to be the turning point for our team. We're really all locked in. I feel that we're going to be ready for the next step. And I'm ready. Let's go.
Great game, great win.
Thank you.
Back to you, John.
Appreciate it. For Ryan Hollins, A.J. Ross, and our entire CBS crew, I'm John Sadak. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. After the break, we'll send you to the Windy City, the PBR Unleash the Beast Chicago Invitational.